Hi, my name is Caitlin Lawson, and for my Change My Mind speech, I'll be discussing the Electoral College and why it is an outdated system that we use today. First, I will dig into explaining what the Electoral College is and as well as what it was created for. We will then discuss why the way industrialization has changed today's society, and it is no longer a relevant system that functions. With the help of some statistics regarding previous and some more recent elections, after that, we will discuss what we could change or adapt within the Electoral College, and lastly, we will discuss the big question as to why. The dictionary quotes the Electoral College as, in the U.S., a body of people representing the states of the U.S. who formally cast votes for the election of the president and the vice president. It consists of 538 votes with a first-to-hit 270 wins policy. The votes are divided sporadically throughout states based on each one's population total, as well as counted at different times between the states. With a constant need for recount, the Electoral College is a winner-takes-it-all system, and the government archives quotes, "The general election is held every 4 years on the Tuesday after the first Monday of November." The government archives also states the Electoral College is a process, not a place. The Founding Fathers established it in Constitution, in part, as a compromise between the election of the president by a popular vote of qualified citizens. Digging into that a bit more, the Founding Fathers' intent was to keep it equal and preserve federalism. Thought Co. states, the Founding Fathers also felt the Electoral College system would enforce the concept of federalism, the division and sharing of powers between the state and national governments. The Electoral College was created in 1787, 234 years ago, and it has not gone without its contradictions and faults. Within the past 234 years, industrialization from all the way around has changed almost entirely, as well as the simplicity of the American dream and of the public mindset. Some differences from 1787 and 2012, according to Yahoo News, are in 1787, 13 out of 50 states were represented, and life expectancy more than doubled. Other things to highlight is technology. Electronic, automobile, business, living have become more complex to make life more simple. If the Electoral College is such a useful and perfected system, why even consider the popular vote? And why do they occasionally contradict each other? When the popular vote contradicts the Electoral College, it means the people wanted the opposite of what the Electoral College system gave them. Yet still, the Electoral College system is the winning factor, leading to the point of an individual's vote does not matter, more so the points that you get off of a state. Like a poorly done board game almost. News sources like the Daily Aztec and many others consistently point out that the Electoral College fails to represent the will of the people. The Daily Aztec points out the Electoral College has failed 5 times throughout history, in 1824, 1876, 1888, 2000, and 2016. In 1824, the election was inconclusive and no one won, so they went with the popular vote, Calvin. In 1876, according to historyhouse.gov, this was the first time Congress met to count the votes in person because the southern states were in dispute and they weren't voting. In 1888, the popular vote was different than the Electoral College, as well as in 2000 and in 2016. The obvious reason for failure is the Electoral College does not focus on the citizens' vote. More recently, we discovered through elections the long-dated corruption of voter rigging. In 2020, it consisted of a vast amount of the deceased voting. So what could we change? Alongside the Electoral College has been the popular vote, which has been the same except for those 5 times. And in those 5 errors, or failures, we noticed problems and great divide within the public. 2016, a major one consisting of revolting riots and not my president protests. Though I do not personally believe in the concept of picking a side and following the empty failing processes of old men throughout time, I do believe the country would benefit greatly if we went by the popular vote, making everyone's voice count. Though it would not fix the corruption of dumping fake votes, keeping the Electoral College would not fix that either. It is simply American greed. So why? Why change the Electoral College out for the popular vote? Because people's voices matter. Because without a first to reach 270 win system, it gives a chance for every citizen's vote to count. The U.S. has changed, grown, and has become heavily industrialized. Since the Electoral College came, slavery ended in the U.S., colored rights and women's rights developed. Every voice has now mattered more than it did back then in 1787. So why not make it actually matter? I believe the Electoral College is outdated and it should be changed to the popular vote. In my speech, we talked about the Electoral College what it is, and when and why it was created, how industrialization has changed us completely since the Electoral College was put into place, why the Electoral College has failed, and why those things have happened, and why the Electoral College system should change to the popular vote to better speak for the citizens' voices. Thank you all for listening, though, throughout my speech, and I hope you agree with me as well. But if not, I ask you just like I ask myself, why? Because people's voices matter, and everyone should have an equal opinion. Thank you.